GR IAS Academy.
"100 days, 100 themes, one goal, UPSC Prelims." Hello everyone, welcome back to Mission Surya. This is a program in which we'll deal current affairs completely from prelims perspective. So let's get started. So today our topic is about emerging technology. In that, first topic is global tech race and critical and emerging technologies index. So why are we measuring this index? Index is for measuring the competitiveness between countries. So why are we measuring this? In this modern world, every country is competing for the edge in the technology. So that is why we are measuring the index. And the next one is the example of technology, digital technology, that is EU's Networks Act. And AI for Bharat is the initiative of India. So now let's continue our class. So every country considers emerging technologies as an important matter. And why it considers? Because of the importance of security of a nation in terms of data and information security as well. That is why we consider our technologies are important in the present era. So, and if you see, every country which is having edge over its technologies are also somehow leader in the business world globally. So there will be richer nations, and then there comes the digital sovereignty. Every country wants their data centers to be in their country to protect their data. So that's wherein digital sovereignty comes in. And then the technological leadership. So technological leadership is the one which makes a country rich nowadays and protects its people from their data breaches. So all these factors are the reasons why our technologies matter in the present era. And then comes our first topic, global tech race and the critical and emerging technologies index. So if you see here, semiconductors have the highest weightage in technology. So they were based on six criteria such as geopolitical significance, systemic leverage, GDP contribution, dual use potential, supply chain risk and time to maturity. And if you notice, our quantum technologies, which we have discussed earlier, takes 5%. So, and our AI takes 25%, biotechnology 20% and space technologies 15%. So, for this index we will be covering about 25 countries. Okay. So, this index, in this topic you need to note this point because UPSC might ask which carries the highest weightage, or it might even ask 1 greater than, 2 greater than, 3 greater than, such a way. It might ask ascending order or descending order of the weightage of technology sectors in terms of index. So what are the insights from this index? So our first country is United States. Considering all sectors, overall leader will be our US. And why it is leader? Because it has good R&D ecosystem and then good private contributors and good collaboration between academies and then R&D research projects. And next comes our China. It is second, and it is strong in two technologies, that is biotechnology and quantum research. However, it has some challenges in semiconductors due to its dependence on equipment from foreign countries. And let's see next country, that is European Union. So, this European Union is strong in biotechnology and quantum research. However, it has some issues and challenges in semiconductors manufacturing, and so why it has brought, our next topic is about EU Act, right? So that is why it brought EU Act to overcome this challenge of policies. Anyhow, the reason for it is that EU has so many countries, so many policies. So that is why different countries of EU follows different rules. Next comes our India. Its score is 15.2. This figure stands important for us, and then if you see, it ranks below France and then ahead of Russia, Canada and Australia. So it means it stands in moderate level. So it stands in moderate level, but it also has some challenges in infrastructure. So how come this topic is relevant to our prelims exam? So if you have seen, not every country is strong in every sector. It is having strength in one sector and it lacks in some sectors. So that means none of the countries becomes a leader for entire semiconductor manufacturing and supply of the chain. Then if you have noticed, like we earlier discussed, 25 countries will be evaluated in this index, and then we have already discussed that semiconductor supply chain is fragmented between different countries. The first one is design, and the second one is fabrication, and the third one is packaging and testing. So if you notice, chip design is mostly dominated by United States, and manufacturing is controlled by Taiwan and South Korea, and equipment comes from Netherlands and Japan. Assembly is done by Southeast Asian countries. So because of this, not even one country have the dominance in semiconductors. So our next topic, EU's Digital Network Acts, comes as an example for this topic, that is EU's Digital Networks Act, which is also called as DNA. So it is proposed by EU law legislation, and the presentation date is January 20. So what is its objective? So the main objective of EU is it wants to strengthen the network of the telecom companies and the digital infrastructure, and then it wants to expand its 5G network connectivity with what? Optical fibers. So optical fibers are better than copper wires, and then it also encourages spectrum allocation equally across the EU countries. Let's see what are its key provisions. So these big tech companies, they are not given strict guidelines to follow. Why? They already follow voluntary best practices. regarding this industry. And then according to this act, these firms will be regulated, and then I already told you they want to replace copper network cables by optical fibers by the year 2030. So, what are the important points? You have to note it down from the EU Act. So, spectrum allocation. So, EU policy mainly concentrates to allocate spectrum across the nations equally. You don't want to make it different for different countries. So, the first point objective of this act is to have some uniform policy throughout the EU. And then comes guidance for spectrum pricing and licensing. So, when you are having policies for different countries to maintain spectrum allocation, if every country is having different policy regarding it, every country will have different rules. So, it want to provide guidance for every country to allow them to follow similar policies, and then it want to roll out the optical fiber allocation as soon as possible along the EU, and then by year 2030 it want to transition from copper wire cables to optical fibers. So, this is the main objective of the, and you have to note down the year 2030, because these numbers are where UPSC concentrates in your prelims. And then why it is important for UPSC. If you notice, EU regulations are one of the important themes in our prelims exam. So, obviously you have to note any changes in the policies of the EU. As a global leader, or as one of the global leaders, EU policies affect entire world. So, it's very important for us to note down regulations of EU. And then this allows us to avoid strict obligations of American countries, right? And if you notice here, copper cable versus fiber cable. If you see, copper wires are twisted and then they are not having that much strength like the fiber cable, and this fiber cable uses light ray where it uses copper wire. Here plastic coating will be used in optical fiber cable, whereas jacket will be used in the copper cable. Next comes our AI for Bharat initiative. What is AI for Bharat initiative? So, AI for Bharat is an open source platform which allows any person who needs this, whether for research or for usage, to use and implement for their own work. And then what it does, okay, if you notice here, this is the logo of our AI for Bharat, and it is collaborated by IIT Madras. And what it does? It builds AI tools for what? For linguistic promotion, linguistic inclusion, okay. So, our India is a vast country with so many languages in the country. So, people speak different languages. In order to include those people and to avoid language as a barrier, India has brought this AI for Bharat initiative. So, these tools which are developed by under AI for Bharat are available for around 22 plus Indian languages which uses AI. So, this is under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which comes under Digital India Mission, and it is a non-profit initiative. Okay. Just now we told that it supports 22 plus languages with several dialects. So, how it works? So, it uses 4 technologies. One is speech recognition. So, what is speech recognition? So, already many people would have implemented this. They speak with the phone with mic on, and then AI detects your language and gives the results. So, it recognizes many languages, 22 plus languages of India, and then give results in our respective language, right. So, this is technology called speech recognition. And then comes machine translation. So, this will help us to translate from one language to another language, Telugu to English, Hindi to English, English to Telugu, Telugu to Hindi. So, whatever the translation, it is also done by this AI. Next comes our optical character recognition. Most of the people already would have used it by now. So, let's consider one document. It will be having some lines written in some language. So, when it is scanned, this AI scans the words which are letters which are present in these sentences, and then recognizes language and then give results accordingly. So, this is called OCR, optical character recognition. And then there are different language models for this purpose and natural language processing. So, just now we have discussed that there are many dialects, means the way you speak Telugu is only having so many dialects. So, when there are so many dialects, one speaks in Telangana slang, one speaks in Rayalaseema slang, the other speaks in coastal Andhra slang. So, every slang will be identified through natural language processing. So, these will be implemented in our products. The first one is Indic Trans. What it does? It translates between one language to another. So, it is a system which is used for translation. And the next one is Indic Bird. It is a pre-trained language model for Indian languages. And then the next one is Shruti Lipi. This one uses our OCR. Just now I told you, right, the document will be scanned and then language will be recognized. And then comes the Vakyansh. This is a speech recognition model. And then our orientation for our project. That is, since our AI for Bharat initiative is open source, it will be available for every startup developers who wants to develop some tool for language models. And then comes our relevance for policies. It supports Digital India Bhashini, which helps for the inclusion of linguistic inclusion, and then it follows AI ethics and inclusivity. So, that's all for today. Please follow our YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you.